Hey guys, in this video I'm going to go into a bit more detail about card drawing and redrawing before the various rounds in a game of Gwent. So I'm going to click on this deck here and get to the first drawing phase. Now if you'll recall, at the start of a match you draw 10 cards from the top of your deck, and you have the opportunity to redraw up to 3 of those. The term redraw in Gwent is also known as mulligan, so you'll often see cards with a tag called mulligan on them, and it's simply referring to redrawing. You'll see several cards in my hand here have effects that have to do with mulliganing cards. Scoia'tael has quite a few cards that have to do with the mulligan. So what happens when you mulligan a card is you click on it, it's sent back into your deck, and then the card is blacklisted. Blacklisted means that you cannot redraw the card again during that same mulligan phase. For instance, I've got 2 of these Vreehead Officer cards. They're only bronze cards, so I probably don't need too many of them in my starting hand. So if I were to redraw one of them, or mulligan one, I'll click on it. He goes back into my deck, and I cannot redraw another Vreehead Officer for the whole rest of this mulligan phase. So generally what you're trying to do in this first mulligan phase is get rid of your weakest cards, typically bronze cards, and look for some of your stronger key units, such as gold cards and silver cards. I still have 2 mulligans left, so maybe I'll get rid of one of these guys. And I happen to have a unique bronze card here that has an interaction with mulligans. This is a card available to Scoia'tael. If I mulligan this card, he actually gets played to my side of the board to start the round instead of going back into my deck. So why don't I do that? It's nice to start the round with some strength.
Too fast for you, Dwan.
And now we start the match after I've completed my 3 mulligans. So as the match goes on, before the second round, you'll draw 2 more cards, and you'll have the chance to do 1 mulligan. And then before the third round, you draw 1 final card, and you do 1 more mulligan. So the great majority of the cards you'll draw in the game, you get right at the beginning. So your starting hand of 10 cards you can think of as your overall resource pool, and Gwent is largely based around figuring out how to spend these resources over time in a way that allows you to get ahead of the opponent at the right times. I will say that there are certain effects in the game that do allow you to draw additional cards and do additional mulligans. For instance, the Vreehead Officer card that I started the game with, his ability is Deploy, mulligan a card. So I can actually use this guy to do 1 more mulligan during my turn, if, for instance, there's a card in my hand I really don't want. Let's try him out. I get to choose any card in my hand to mulligan here. Maybe I'll get rid of this guy. I get a different card. And then the gameplay keeps going. But since card drawing effects are very rare, Gwent largely comes down to who is able to better make use of their starting cards throughout the game. In the next video, I'll go more into rows and positioning. So see you then.